Everything here is immediately followed by sarcastic comments and nasty responses.
Yep, we're finally where we belong.
And don't think we don't know how to weed them out.
Put a chick in it, make her gay. Put a chick in it, make her name it gay.
All of Andrew's scenes could get cut. Who knows? It's Hollywood, baby.
That's all, brother. I had it.
I'm doing my part.
I'm doing my part.
I'm doing my part, too.
Very good. Well, if you can't get out of it, get into it.
Welcome to Inside the Badger Den with the Angry Badger and Mr.Techrat. What is going on? Hey, I really heard you clapping that time.
I got it in there. I was really trying to get it in there.
I got to get one of those soundboards. Welcome to somehow the 19th, going on 20th episode of Inside the Badger Den. How are you? Of course, my co-host, my other co-host, not the crazy one with weaponized autism and ADD. This one over here,
I may have a touch of those things. I'm just not diagnosed. I like to keep my shit a mystery. I'm doing all right. Got a lot of things. Got a lot of things in the personal life squared away, and it feels good. I know you've been doing the same.
Yeah. It's fun when you pay attention to the actual quests that matter.
Oh, for sure.
Let's see who we got here in the chat.
7:14, 2 hours
before we even started. Hail Daniel G, new member of the chat. I don't know why, but thank you. And Brian Hart, I appreciate it. It's okay. Thank you for even showing by to say you couldn't stay. I know you're normally there. Thank you. My Nagranol, what's up, bro? Looking forward. I'll be on the GCA podcast on Wednesday, this coming Wednesday. So that will be fun. Thank you for showing up. Lod, bro, I see you everywhere, as always. Just watching Friday Night Tights. He was on.
The finger.
Yeah, you can. You're here right now. Of course you could join. Alec Baldwin's finger. Hail, my dude. Hail. Oh my God. Okay. I actually got so a lot of things. Stellar Blade will obviously be talked about. If you're new to the show, we of course recap all the videos that we've done throughout the week, starting from last Saturday. We always start at the end of every Inside the Badger Den. So Warhammer is the newest show, franchise, whatever, up on the chopping block.
Crumbling.
It's sad because a lot of them are in denial, even though it's followed every single pattern of every other single franchise. Like if the attack pattern when DEI comes a sniffing.
Yeah. A lot of them have seen it.
We're past the point of where they've weaponized the like mainstream media against the fan base for calling out the DEI change. But I think it's important because even Drinker talked about this, and I knew he would because I used to watch him do like painting streams with Az back in the day. But I wanted to watch, I of course did a reaction to his video, but I wanted to watch just a little bit of it, just the first minute, to give us a primer if you're not familiar with Warhammer, of just what type of world is. And it's one of those worlds, we talked about it for a while, like I don't even see what they would do to really DEI it up, because it's a pretty horrible, like no pun intended, it's actually literally a horrible place. No, they found a way. DEI found a way. So here's just the first. Oh, they're about to find out. Here is the first minute just of Drinker explaining the Warhammer.
There's been a bit of a ruckus in the Warhammer 40k community in recent days after the parent.
He's going to explain the Warhammer. It's like a boomerang.
Company Games Workshop decided to make some changes to the lore of their fictional universe, and well, they haven't exactly been well received. But what changes did they make to cause such a backlash, you might ask? Well, this is where I'm going to have to delve into the lore a little bit, so indulge me. The simplistic view is that Warhammer 40k is set in a fictional future where mankind is locked into a state of constant warfare across the galaxy and has devolved into a kind of quasi-religious military dictatorship where human life is cheap and all that matters is the survival of the Imperium.
There's no such thing as any sort of gender politics or any of our modern day fun times. It's literally like they're fighting demons from other dimensions. Everyone is zealotous as it's great. It's an awesome, fun little world in the couple of games I've played, even though most are RTSs.
I say send the women out there to die just like the men.
Well, what we're going to come to find out is, and I think that's enough because he basically just explains it. It's a whole. He actually said something where he compared it to. He compared the Custodes to being Space Marines, and like, oh, they don't like when you do that.
Lit 'em up, I'm sure.
They're entirely. He did actually get lit up, but then of course the Drinkers fans came in and they corrected that ratio real quick. But no. So Games Workshop, and for a reason we're going to come to find out, is a bit more nefarious than even you'd think. Not you, but like you, the audience, but maybe even you. Yeah. So the Custodes, which is basically like the Emperor's personal guard, they're better than Space Marines. And as I was trying to find out the difference, Custodes are entirely remade, basically, from the sons. That's the big key part here. The sons, and it's mentioned in a bunch of different lore things, of the like nobles of Earth, and they all stay on Earth and they protect the Emperor. And the basic difference of there is they're entirely genetically rebuilt based on these infant sons, and Space Marines have like parts put onto them. Still badass, but not as good as. Anyway, it's a long way to say that there were no females, because apparently this can only be done to biological males, and of course that's never enough.
What's that?
So that would be the other part, is that then they would have to admit that there's differences between. Yeah, they can't do that. By the way, yeah, go ahead and sub to this one.
I have 11 subscribers now, and nothing.
Do anything.
Nothing. Yeah, I love you guys.
Has a 3D printer. So at this point, I've already told him to start 3D printing these Warhammer figures. He then corrected me that he needs a different type of 3D printer for resin. So if my
boss would like to set that up and write it off, we can start making characters.
Yeah. Well, that was a nice way of you to grift. Yeah. Once we start becoming profitable, truly profitable as a channel, I will totally buy you a resin 3D printer so you can start your Warhammer, because that's the alternate
Badger army for Warhammer.
Which we've actually got several requests for based on the thumbnails. It's a long way to go. That the big rub is that they changed the Custodes, and really what the real big rub is, they gasp. Have you heard this before, where a change is made to lore, and then when the loyal fan base says something about it, they get gaslit? Like, what are you talking about? It was always that way. But either way, they did that again. So that was the big one, acting like it had always been that way. Oh, look at that. You guys in chat are friends now. So speaking of things that they're acting, we'll go back to that saga. So that's where we left it, right? Everyone pissed off with Games Workshop. And yeah, so the next one is, and it helps, I got to share your screens. We're going to be talking about censorship. Sort of a big thing happening right now. When we get to Stellar Blade, you'll understand why. But the big thing is about, you got to get physical media, because if you buy it digitally, they can retroactively censor it, which is exactly what Asper Media did with the remasters for Tomb Raider, the 1, 2, 3 remaster trilogy. And you can even see it behind her. This is the remastered one up here with the pinups behind her. Those were removed. There it again, right there. That's before the patch. And then afterward, up above it, you can see it. And then if you play it's sort of like the Halo.
You can tone it down.
You can switch back and forth. Yeah. If you go back to the original one, they're there, but they're so pixelated that they might as well not be there. Right. So
they made it look too good. They had to take it out.
It's really weird because it is hot phobia. It is hot phobia. That hot phobic. That shout out to Chris Gore. By the way, yeah, he did have a stroke. We did talk about that, and he did announce it.
Shit.
I was watching it. Yeah, he had a stroke.
I wasn't paying attention to a lot of things this week.
I guess he was slurring his words, and everyone correctly, because I've been there where you're known for drinking, and so everyone just dismisses your very real symptoms of. He's just hungover. He's felt like shit before, and then you're feeling like shit, and you're slurring of words. You weren't still drunk. You weren't hungover. You had stroke. So but I've seen him tweeting, so I think he's obviously through the woods. But could be scary. Wow. So shout out to him. But I don't know why I mentioned him now in hindsight.
Because you mentioned the phrase that he coined, I guess.
Right, hophobic. Thank you. Yeah. See, I can be a real chike sometimes.
Also, I followed you down the rabbit hole.
Hey, you're doing your job. You will. If we get super chats, they're all yours. Some of them. Sometimes. Yeah. No, you do. It is hot phobia, but it's also there's another nefarious one, and that is they don't want to offend the mythical queer modern audience. Buy modern media. Buy modern media. Speaking of modern media, have you played Fallout 4 yet?
No.
I've seen everyone. I've seen a couple of people.
Everyone's playing a lot. Yeah.
I went back in just to see. It looks good on the Series X. It does, and there's a couple new quests for it that popped up, but it's like creation shit. It's the mods that they found a way to monetize. But yeah, look decent, fun to pop in and just get a 4K basically Fallout 4.
Yes.
Even though, yeah, obligatory, go play New Vegas.
Yeah. 3 or Vegas till death.
I'm almost done with 3, and then I'm going to New Vegas. But I'm going through all the DLC. I just finished the Pittsburgh, which I put off because they make you literally make you be a slave and lose all your armor and all that. But it's fine. I got it back real quick. And
yeah, I like the Anchorage one.
Unalived them all. Unalived them all. Very satisfying. I forgot, by the way, I will say this now because there's a lot of conversations. It's cringe Friday Night Tights when they're talking about Fallout because none of them have played the games. Playing Fallout 3 Game of the Year edition from 2008, every other character is a woman and every other character is a diverse woman. This was all before DEI inclusion. This was just normal progressive and no one questioned it. I'm playing and I go up to this hotel fighting through super mutants. I get to the Statesman downtown. I get to the top and it was the fucking Riley's Rangers. I was like, oh yeah. Spoiler.
And you didn't
Riley
go,
is a very young white woman, and she's leading an entire mercenary group. Well, this is Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers issue with Fallout. It's like, why aren't the women constantly being raped? It's like, it's not that type of apocalypse. Shout out to Gooch. I was just on his stream last Wednesday talking about Rebel Moon. What a fucking torture. Not his stream and him, but talking about Rebel Moon Part 2. But shout out to Gooch. Definitely want to go back on him. Gotta have him on here. I start having guests on again, for sure. We got to get Vex Electronica on.
Whoever wants to come.
But yeah, shout out. And yeah, hail Ak. I mean, R2 depends. Sometimes he's Jim Beam, and then we can't call him Ak, but mostly he's Ak. Yeah, shout out. Okay, let's move on. Let's move on to this douchebag. Often I joke about it. I'm not actually angry. I'm ill-tempered. I was angry during the entire filming of all of this. But before we get to that, Momus Mouse, I have, do you want to read this one? Because this is a 3D printing thing.
Yeah, I have a Creality Harlot 1 plus 3D printer, use it to print D&D. We're switching to Warhammer. Yeah, I think when I got my Ender 3 Pro, it was probably around $200, and that was a few years ago, and I haven't had a real big issue with it.
Cheers. Yeah, I'm telling you right now, this is the time. These franchises are going to keep pissing everyone. Warhammer's done, and when we get into a little bit later the actual reason we think that they've done this. Spoiler: it's for money reasons, not just ESG money. But anyway, get this 3D printer, make this your first priority, and start doing custom orders. That parallel economy is what we need to happen. I like the Fallout series for once. Was it Netflix? It was Amazon Prime. But if Netflix did it, she would have been black. For once, something without a Mary. But yes, everyone had character development. I just thought it took a little too long with some of them, and she was not a Mary Sue. The people saying she's a Mary Sue, I was like, oh well, no. I don't know. There's no line. There's no line anymore. Speaking of no line, the shoot he got. Well, look, no one gives a shit about Doctor Who. His and people calling it reverse. Stop putting addendums on it. It's not reverse race. It's just racism. His lines here about white mediocrity. There's so much white mediocrity that gets celebrated, and black people, we have to be astonishingly flawless to get half of that anyway. Bro, again, and I said it once before. Could you imagine if David Tennant said there's so much black mediocrity? The outrage.
Get him.
I know. Clip it. By the way, just speaking of it, since Gooch is here, and he did make me sorry. Thank you, Lod. Another gifty. Fallout was okay. It was an awful lot. Bro, if you do a stream or episodes about this, I want in. You should, because you can get way more pull. Let's get Little Platoon and all this, because they have so many arguments, and they're all beautiful arguments. But if you do it on they have a bunch of reasons that are reasons from the game, whether you agree with it or not. And I know Mahler doesn't like those reasonings, but there's a bunch of shit that's actually from the games. All right. Yeah. Anyway, speaking of that, I reacted to Drinker's Rebel Moon, and it was painful and short because just like this movie, 2 hours, 14% on.
Wow.
Not that we pay much attention, but
no.
Still, the 51 rating audience score. Even Leona, Leon, shout out. Cool. Even Leona didn't like this.
It's not good, man.
Leona didn't like this. No, pardon me. It's not. But it was. But they were all bad.
I sat through the first one. I don't know if I'm gonna do that.
I will defend him. I liked the original Dawn of the Dead. Okay, I feel like I have to do a bunch of preferences before I say these last couple things. I don't agree with a lot of decisions he made for Justice League and Batman versus Superman and blah, 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 blah. That being said, with what we got, there's a lot about the extended edition of BVS that I enjoy, namely that goddamn warehouse scene, and that we got a Batman that didn't have bad knees and I actually believed could fight next to a Justice League. Yeah. I liked his Justice League cut, not the Justice League. Although I did like the intimation of Batman and Wonder Woman fucking from Joss Whedon, but that's par for the course. I wanted to like Army of the Dead. I thought, oh, this would be great. Horrible.
Wrong.
Horrible.
Did you watch the sequel?
No, the prequel thing where they actually stole. No, I couldn't do it. And then Rebel Moon. Okay. He was supposed to get a Star Wars movie. He pitched it, and they turned him down. So immediately you go, these people put out shit. They've lost money on now. Thank you, Forbes. They've never paid for their original Disney, that is, never paid for their original purchase. They've lost money, and they turned down his movie. And then Rebel Moon came out, and I watched it with the Nerdrotic chat, and it was painful. Sorry. I'm a little late and got to go soon, but send some support, Mr. Techrat. Don't worry. You'll be a hard R crimer at Badger's level in no time. Crimers' lives matter. Yeah. You know what? He's never been a crimer in his life. One time he was detained by security.
Yeah.
We all laughed, but he's never actually committed a crime. Never been caught. That's the key. Yeah. It ain't about white privilege. It's about not getting caught. Yeah. Shout out Joker's Disciple. We always love you here. Shout out on this morning. A lot of you, we had 250 people watching Nerd Rage. That was insane.
It was good.
Yeah, good stuff. Okay. Disney has nothing, right? We're going to talk about Deadpool and Wolverine real quick. Is anyone looking forward to this? And does anyone legitimately think that this will save or make any difference? Prolong. I think it will prolong the MCU because it'll make money. But will this make any difference whatsoever? Yeah, everyone subscribe to the channel you're watching right here. It's down at the bottom. Thank you, Nycran. For Deadpool and Wolverine.
I personally, I mean, this might be a little over the top. I feel like this is like getting back together with someone that you know is really good in bed, but you know that when it's over, you got to deal with some crazy shit.
In Reacher season 2, what's her name? I forgot the chick that he's banging throughout the season, and she's like, "This isn't new business. This is the end of old." Bro, this is what this is.
Yep. I
have been hearing Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds talk about making this goddamn movie for
joking and everything
over a decade.
Yeah,
I've since 2000, or was it 1999? Whatever. I think it was 2000. The original X-Men, and them making jokes about, well, will you expect yellow spandex? Yes. I expect, like, that was the whole point when Marvel, when we heard originally that Disney had bought, it was that, finally, because pretending that the reason Fox put them in black leather was because they couldn't put them in comic accurate costumes. And here we go. By the way, be careful telling him that. Don't collide.
I am touching myself tonight.
A little extra zest on that one. But yeah, I just want to see them. I want to see him in the mask. I want to say goodbye to the Fox X-Men and all those versions, all the First Class. I don't know. And I think this is, as we've heard, this is going to be LFG, all the cameos. Baby. The LFG, Wet Mop, blah, blah, blah. And I'm hoping, just to see him in the mask. Good jokes. That's it. Oh, I was going to say, but of course, we always talk about this, the DEI tax. Everything, even if it's good, has to have some DEI tax in it. And this is the one, I think.
Oh, sure.
This is the one I think we're gonna have to pay. Nostalgia bait, it will make it 1 billion plus, but that's a ballsy prediction. But the actual movie will probably suck. I will see it because I'm a Wolverine homer. Okay, fuck. Like, so much about your thing. Okay, nostalgia bait. Well, yes. Will it make 1 billion? I do, but only if it gets insane word of mouth, right? I think it's probably more going to be between 8 and 9. I don't think it's going to suck, dude. I think it's going to be good. Okay, I do think it's to be good because these two guys and Sean Levy, which we've talked about, and he did Free Guy and Adam Project and Night at the Movies, and he's worked with both of them before. I think all three of them combined might have just enough clout to get most of it through. That being said, I think we're still going to get some, and we're going to get a girl boss. That's Xavier's sister.
Think about the draw that each of those characters' fan base is, right? They're going to come and watch it regardless. Well, first of all, I mean, like I said, yeah, just like that. So
he calls himself a homer, but you simp, bro. You can say simp. It's all right. It's all right. I simp for him too. It's cool.
So it's gonna make some money, regardless.
There you go. I tell you, when people fucking agree with us, it makes me very empowered. No,
I mean, we might have to shut down now and go out on a high note.
It's very disheartening every time another IP falls to the mess as well, and that is unfortunately also a common theme of a lot of the videos that we've talked about, but okay. So obviously the combat to all of this is, we're also going to be talking about the DEI Detected that finally got released, but the Sweet Baby Inc. Detected, limited as it was, because Jesus Christ, we're finding out that their SBI's reach was far and wide. It started to work a little bit. So, and unfortunately for different reasons. So the first one is this Shadow Gambit, the Curse Crew, has unfortunately shut down for various reasons. But of course, you can see that insert right there looking very much like a Kim Belair. So that's one off, but that was connected. So sad, not a franchise, but something that maybe had it not been saddled, because these checkboxes are saddles.
Well, perhaps if it was more inclusive, I mean, how could someone like myself identify with that protagonist?
Yeah, well, there he is, Bly. What is going on, sir? All right. So because I'm a Warhammer channel now, this is the big conspiracy, and I started seeing this in the videos I was doing about Warhammer. I started seeing this in the comments by people that this is why they did it. Well, and there's a couple of them, and just like you don't need a formal conspiracy where interests align, there's a couple of reasons that they both sort of coincide. They both scissor with each other in alignment. That Games Workshop introduced the female, I get to tell part place. You don't have to put Adeptus in front of Custodes every time. I got yelled also by whirling this together, and he was like, "It's like saying cat dog." I was like, "Okay," but basically, the reason they did this to the Custodes is specifically because Henry is doing the live action and he's going to use that faction. It's also coincidentally Henry's favorite faction, and there's plenty of times where he's talked about it. So we have them doing it. We have them making the change. We have them gaslighting the fans when they call out the change. And then we have the one reason being not just DEI in their tabletop, but DEI on screen. We know Amazon has inclusion standards. They go, hey, in Henry, we see one of the main factions you're going to focus on doesn't have any women. I need you to put some women in it. And then he goes, but there are no women of this version. And then they go, we just in the last year it changed, so now you have to do it. Let's see. Hypnotic had a good stream earlier with, I was watching this about DI Detected. They started, it was a good stream. Brutus, very sweet dude, very soft spoken. I think just really genuinely cares about the infection and causation from the agenda, not trying to be hyperbolic or attack anyone. Sometimes two things can be true, mutual, all the disclaimers. Speaking of DEI, we many times have said that while the idea of it is fine, the execution of it is what is actually illegal. Like, it's fine to say that you want white people or less white people and more people from underrepresented groups, but to get there at a perfect equality level, that's when you start getting into illegalities. And thankfully, while this case wasn't specifically talking about that, it was talking about firing people and the statutes of you, instead of having to prove extreme loss, they've lowered those statutes. But this could be used to go for people who have been wrongly terminated because of DEI. It's like the DEI followed, bro. And it's also like every time he goes into something and he thinks, all right, finally, a lord that I love go in there and they find a way to fuck him over. Like, this is exactly what happened to him with Wisher. It's why they called him difficult. It's because every time they went to do something that would muck it up, he'd be like, no. No, Geralt wouldn't do that. Look, like he'd walk around with the books in his hand. He played the games. He did the voice because that's how Geralt the games. Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. Like in Marvel, they said the quiet part out loud that they don't, in fact, they don't hire people. Yeah. So anyway, this is good. This will lead, and we're starting to see the lawsuits come against for these and the things like this, which will let them cite it in lawsuits. That is going to be good, I hope. How long until the emperor becomes emperor? Bro, yeah. No. That's what I was trying to The Witcher. Sorry, I Ben Shapiro it sometimes. Talk a little too fast. The Iron Jew. It's similar to the Bear Jew. Okay. As we're talking about DEI and the fact that now there are 0 to 9, by the way, is pretty good. It's not going anywhere, right? They're still doubling down, and that's what this one was about. This leaked memo, basically, in Ubisoft. So if you needed any more reason to bounce out from modern day Ubisoft, aside from they're also the ones that told you to get used to not owning your games. They basically had this leaked internal document saying that no, not getting rid of this at all. And shout out to the Quartering for being one of the first ones. It says, we are proud to represent the diversity and inclusion that exists in society as part of our everyday work. Representation is a part of our DNA and will remain that way regardless of external pressure or influences, i.e., we don't give a shit how many DEI detectives you have or how many sweet baby inks or how much backlash. We are not going to be we're not going to be backing down. So that's fine. Like I said, much like Disney will never back down no matter how much we actually like. I think I forgot what stream it was where I was like, they'll be the last one. And it's like, no, they won't at all. Every other group will refocus back to traditional narrative storytelling, will focus on the male gaze, GAZE, the male demographic. They'll go back to it, and they're already starting to. But Disney will be the last. Yeah, right, because they're already focused on the male gaze.
I love that you have to point it out.
It's just wording.
Yeah, you want to make sure there's no miscommunication.
Well, and speaking of the male gaze, this next one, I hesitated doing it, and I'm glad that I did cover this story.
The Queen?
Yeah. Oh. Because my parents told me that this story upset them. And I was like,
it upsets me as a parent.
That's why I covered it, because I was like, man, this is a fucking, and you're talking to someone who is the progressive one, all right?
My apple.
This is the bridge too far. So yes,
I'm a princess.
Let's get the obligatory ones out of the way. Obviously, men and women play the fully masked, costumed characters.
100%.
We get it. Short, skinny dudes play mini. Women play.
First week at Disney, smoking a cigarette in the back, but it was great.
I think that was actually France Disneyland. I remember that storyline. But women play Goofy. That's fine. When it comes to the actual like straight up female princess live action characters, I'm sorry. Now, this is where we're going to get into some tricky, let's put on our mousetrap and see who gets triggered. And this is why, and before we get to, this is why when Bob Iger says that remember when there's that video that Bob Iger says that Disney doesn't engage in agenda and putting politics. Right. Well, here's the gross little fucking way that he says that. They don't see this as politics or agenda. They see this as truth. They see this as the right side of history. So to them, trans women are women. I don't agree with that statement. To me, trans women are women. Trans women are biological men who have body dysmorphia, and to abate that, to cope with that, they present as a female and ask that everyone call them by female pronouns. Blah 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 blah. That's fine. These would be, and they exist. These would be the Blair Whites of the world who still, through all of this, acknowledge that they're fucking biological men. They don't ask us to pretend some fucking reality exists that doesn't. When they go to their doctor, and they don't try to infringe on the rights of women, actual biological women. And again, much like pressing 1 for English in America, I don't think biological anyone has to quantify it by putting an asterisk or cis. Cis is a slur. That's a long way to say that Disney now lets biological men play the fucking evil, which is a little base, by the way, to let them play the evil queen.
I guarantee you they would not let a trans person play like Tiana.
Well, and as pointed out, also, would they let a white woman blackface it up and play Tiana? Would they let a butch lesbian play Prince Eric, or any of the princes for that matter? Yeah. And by the way, also, let's say the quiet part out loud, bro. You could at least be passing. Yeah. You could at least
instead of Mr. Steal Your
make
King
me question it, not fucking be 7 feet tall and be basier than I am. So a family went to Disney. By the way, this is 3 months old. We're just now starting to find, or rather, she's been the queen for 3 months. I think this this just happened a couple days ago. A family went to Walt Disney World Resort. They paid about $300 for a private dinner, blah blah blah, on top of like whatever. I think the dad said they paid about $8,000. So they go to this dinner. First of all, before we go to that, this is the other one, like, bro, no.
So my name's Nick. I want to fairy godmother's apprentices. I'm here to shop you around and make all your selections for the day.
Jesus.
I'm not taking my kid there to have a fucking dude with a mustache. I'm sorry. I'm all for gay rights, bro. Stop it. I don't. By the way, that was the other thing. I don't give a fuck if there's a gay dude. Just be an open gay dude, but don't stop with the. Yeah. Then that's a whole nother one. But still, that's okay. So that's just the type of people. That's the fairy godmother for a day. So here's the meet and greet. Right? He pays $300.
I fear that one of my kids would call these people out, like, in public.
Why do you that's a man. Okay, so the dad says, while we were waiting for desserts to come out, we received our invitation to meet the evil queen, which we were really looking forward to. Keep in mind that we've had our meet and greet with other villains, and they are truly the best character experiences that we've ever had. So we had high hopes for the evil queen leading up. So we all walked over towards the evil queen area while my kids and my wife were interacting with the character. I was doing some videos about 10 feet away. Basically, once they got close and had had a conversation interaction,
you could see the poison Adam's apple.
And he could hear, without a doubt, having a man's voice. This is when he went to the waiter and was like, bruh, I think this is a man. And then they went into here. So for the most part, the manager just listened and never apologized or anything. At one point, the manager stated, I can assure you that she is a woman, because when you believe in this truth that trans women are women, then she is a woman according to their fucking guidelines.
Magical, dude.
She went even further, trying to shame me, informing me that she was so excited to get the part of the evil queen. For a brief moment, I thought, oh, maybe I'm wrong. So this is the gaslighting. And he goes, oh, but then I realized I was just being gaslit. I politely told the manager that I know what you're doing and that I do not appreciate the fact that you are trying to be funny and disingenuous. And the problem is they may not even have been disingenuous. They might actually believe it. That's weaponized compassion is the other one we got to.
Is it inappropriate to ask the queen then what type of feminine products she prefers?
Do you tuck or are you a full gone? Based on the voice, though, I'm assuming it was probably a full blown
just weekend fun
staff. So they couldn't answer. He said he straight up asked, "Is the evil queen a biological male?" And the manager's reply was, "I'm sorry, sir, I cannot answer." So and here's let's all listen carefully, kids.
You are my favorite evil queen. Oh my god!
Also my favorite. We have so much.
Yeah, I know.
You are my favorite evil queen. Oh my god!
Also my favorite. We have so much.
Yeah, but the jaw, the tallness, no, it's fine. So Disney, they're a bit far gone. I think we've gone. That's the problem is we were going pretty good on the progression level, and I think it was decent, and then we went way too far. Way
to quote
too
a
far.
fantastic movie that no one here will get, I do believe their cheese has slid off their cracker.
You're right, and I would normally shame people for not knowing that. Even I can't think of that one.
Good man.
I'll wait for someone in the chat to
They're
call it out.
Google it.
That doesn't count. I trust the chat more than that. So this is one of those things that could have been a coinkydink. But let me ask you, because it does say you go on here that she has the CFO, the Chief Financial Officer for Games Workshop. She's been there for about 28 years, and I guess she announced this a little while earlier, possibly before even news of the Custodes female retcon happened and all the gaslighting, that she had sold 2/3 of her shares. Now, this is being framed that it is because of the Warhammer boycott. Yeah. Even if I try to steelman this position, bro, if you for 28 years you had that much stock and it's about to be adapted to a main,
she pulled the ripcord.
What wouldn't you hold onto it? Thinking like much like Fallout, which has blown up the game. There's
grow.
5 million people playing Fallout. I don't give a fuck what you think about the show. There are 5 million people across all the games playing, 1 million people concurrent playing fucking Fallout 76. So the Fallout show like that would behoove people at Bethesda to hold on to their stocks, right? So over here at Games Workshop, knowing that Henry's coming over, even if you believe the bullshit that he has full control, executive, whatever, that he can stay away from the pitfalls of the other things, why would you sell your stock? Why would you sell 2/3 of your stock before your goddamn show comes out? Unless, dun dun dun, you know some fuckery is happening, some shenanigans are afoot. Or she could just be retiring and she is putting all her shit into more trustworthy IRA rollovers. I don't know. I don't know anymore. Maybe I've been weaponized and radicalized. Maybe I'm just a grifter. What's true anymore? I don't know. I have yet to see a Badger video that isn't genitalia focused. I'm just saying, well, is that true? That can't be true. I'll have to look that up. I might have a Freudian thing going on. Well, Lod, we will talk about that in a minute, but there is a solid tactic that they're actually trying to kill something, much like cancer, which isn't. I'm going to say it like he said it. That's not a line, but that they might be trying to destroy the franchise before purchasing the franchise on the cheap and then rehabilitating it with whatever maniacal things they want to do. I sort of see it. It's it is like a super evil thing to do, ironically, but who would think that a major evil corporation would do a majorly evil thing? Speaking of uneducated things, I said uneducated, I meant to say something else, but it's another ironic thing. Cabrutus and his DEI detected is getting a lot of backlash. His Sweet Baby Inc. for sure, and then DEI detected. I'm sure we've all heard about this guy, the voice actor from Dragon Ball and Genshin Impact and My Hero Academia, blah blah blah. This dude and everything he said about Cabrutus sounds exactly like I'm really trying to ignore him. Alan Richson and all the dumb shit he says sounds like he only surface level pays attention to mainstream headlines, but doesn't have any further. He just believes what anyone says.
No digging.
First of all, the last person hold on. Can we do a poll on Badger being super gay or not? Yeah, put that in your poll and smoke it. So wait.
No comment.
Yeah, no comment. Yeah, no. We've talked about this for years. If I could be gay, I would. It would make everything a lot easier. And these days, I would get super like ESG benefits.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. I'm already half Puerto Rican, so I can already get that benefit. I'm like maybe I can get an AARP thing eventually.
Yeah, and you're R-worded, not hard R.
Yeah,
R-worded.
No. I'm kind of retarded. But yeah, it would be a little. Yeah. It'd be a little too much. It is shocking how all of us say, yeah, it is shocking how all of a sudden when they're not mandatory surveys started going around Hollywood, that the queer box started getting checked. Yeah, dude. But I swear, and you might see it when we start getting into the more summer. When I start getting a tan, I do get pretty. My vote and Sweet Baby Ink might hire me. Sweet Baby Ink might hire me in the summer months when I start getting a tan. But yeah, no. So that last one was just another idiot. And so, okay, Stellar Blade, it's the big one. It's the one that and before we go, I should make the big point that everyone, it seems like the narrative, if we have a narrative, is let's not blame Stellar Blade for this particular censorship that's going on. It's not them, it's Sony. And that actually has been sort of shown that Sony has done this before, where despite what a developer has wanted, they have sort of overruled them. Even though I think this first one is just an accident. World's first non-binary badger. I would be a gender fluid badger. Thank you. I forgot what they were talking about. Oh, it was a Friday Night Tights where guy was saying he was asexual, and it was just like, this just no one would fuck you. Sony replaces the word hard with crime. So this is where the crimer things. So hard as graffiti, hard was everywhere in the game, like probably procedurally generated. You can see it right there. And then the R shop is just like, their in-game shop in one instance. And of course, this also, as we get into, might have been, in fact, we could just skip back and forth to these two right now, so I don't have to talk about it later. The person who called out, so the person that did this, that posted this hard R on Twitter, at the same time, the IGN, 3 p.m., the IGN article dropped, and then 25 minutes later, the Kotaku article dropped. So that's that. Which doesn't really sound like it's that much of a conspiracy, but basically, hard R, if you don't know, for the N-word. It's for the N-word. If you put the at the end of it, it's racist. If you put the it's not. And they thought this, and no one got this except for Americans, because this is the only, and even some Americans didn't get this joke. It is sort
I didn't get it.
But yes, you did.
No, I've never heard of hard R in that context.
You've never heard the N-word with he said it with the hard
mentally
R?
Challenged in a negative way.
Bruh.
Yeah.
Bro, this is literally the joke that everyone posts of that guy on, they kept saying the hard R, and he said, yeah, I used to say the hard R, and the guy opposite him who's mortified, thinking he knows, he's talking about like Nutella. Bro, you never say the Nutella. Hard R. Okay, sorry, let me read this. Joker's poll for who's more gay, Badger, Mr.Techrat, Erwin, or Beardo. Well, depends on like straight up gayness. Beardo is gay because he denies and overlooks DEI in some of the games he loves, like Spider-Man 2. Erwin is gay because he's never seen any goddamn movie ever, but he is rectifying that. Mr.Techrat, why are you gay?
Can't figure my gay. I don't know.
Because you don't put videos on your channel, even though people subscribe to you. And you didn't know what hard R was. You're gay. Me, why am I gay? I don't know. Pick one. I have action figures. I don't know. Oh, sorry. Actually, technically, they say they're not action figures. Collectibles.
Yeah.
Originally, it was said with a hard R short. Yeah. So, okay. So here, to be fair, hard R, an R-rated movie that is close to R NC-17. You could say that movie was a hard R. Was pushing
said a few extra things. Yeah.
And then, yes, retarded, which I will never stop saying because I'm kind of retarded. So I guess I have the key. I have the card. And then, but yeah, no, hard R has always been, if you say Nutella, you guys know what I'm talking about, right? If you're one of those, what's up, my Nutellas? If you say Nuteller, it's racist. But if you say Nutella, it's just slang. It's like saying bro. So, yeah. So honestly, I think this was 100%. Remember we talked about localization and that one of the things when they're not like with a DEI filter, they're just supposed to translate little jokes and things like that. This is something that a localization would have noticed and be like, don't put that there. Or if this is also, maybe they just didn't notice it. I'll have you know, those are 7 inches. I need a full 7 inches.
Yeah, 11 and a half is too much. Come on.
Yeah, no, that's too much. And the 6 inches isn't enough. 7 inches is fine. Shout out with for the algorithm. Beardo is a dumbass, but Badger is on the snow. Has to be. I mean, come on, bro. If I could, I would be. I would 100% be on all the Colombian marching powder. I have always been like this. I've always been Ben Shapiro level, high strung. Everyone always thinks that's why I put Angry Badger. People think I'm upset a lot of the time, and I'm not. I'm just animated and passionate. And God, I do. Ironically, I got more calm on the snow when I was partaking back in the day. I think it's like when people that actually have ADD take Adderall, it's working as intended. It actually calms them down. I don't know. I do advocate for, like, I know it was a joke in Grand Theft Auto about legalized cocaine, but I do. I say we do it. Just make sure 100%. Look, if we can give it to free for motherfuckers in San Francisco on the street, I think we can sell it. I think both Darwin and Aviv on this. Bro, I don't know what it is with Erwin, because I've asked him, like, no, you could tell me. It's fine. He's not ADD. He's not ADD, or at least he claims to not be. So, yeah. Anyway, speaking of DEI, we've mentioned it. If you don't know, there is a new resource for all of us, DEI Detected, an actual website, because as it's gone through, and still go to the Steam creation list for Sweet Baby Inc., but it's not just Sweet Baby Inc. Obviously, there's Black Girl Gamers and Gamer X and a litany, Baby Ghosts, Weird Ghosts, there's a litany of other DEI narrative consulting companies. So now we have an all-in-one, and also we found out that Valve, has some BlackRock, State Street, Vanguard connections. So DEIdetected.com is going to be our new go-to watchdog site, at least until, I don't see, he's going to continuously update and expand it. So
what's the deal with all the baby names?
It is super weird. And I forgot one of the other ones where it had like a baby prefixure to it. And in French, I don't get it. I think the only thing I can sort of think of is when I was talking to Erwin, who has, God, he's on our side, but he's not exactly going to be arrested for like being with the enemy, but boy, he will be at their trial advocating for them. The Kool-Aid has been sipped, but no, he loves Kim Blair. He thinks he can save her. He's gonna, how Ryan from RK Outpost saved Brie Larson. He's gonna pull that with Kim Blair.
Toxica.
Yeah, he's heard a lot of their podcasts over the years. But yeah, so shout out to Cabrutus. Everyone, DEI Detective is where it's at. Detected. Even though the 3-year game, AAA game moratorium is still in effect. I know it's a lot. Okay, let's see. Before we move on to the next one. The next one is fucking stupid. And thankfully, Ryan talked about it on FNT and had the exact same take I did. So I don't feel stupid. And if we're wrong, we're wrong, but I don't think we're wrong. But before we get to that, you're right, Badger, but it's not just the external consultants. They have DI department. Oh, yeah. That was the other thing. And I know he yelled at me because I did the chat and I talked shit to him for like 2 weeks in a row on Nerd Rage and accused him of drinking the Kool-Aid. Almost every single game company that has hired Sweet Baby Inc. was already corrupted with DEI. Already. The call has come from inside the house. They already had in-house DEI departments. They already had done the crime. And basically, they just called in experts, because they're not even fucking experts, to come in and ruin it even further. So they already had race swap black women. They just came in to make their race swap black women a little bit more. And that's the ironic thing, is even they can't make them. No amount of their work made Saga Anderson a more interesting character, even if the choice, the decision to race swap her was made before they came in, even though I'm still not convinced on that one. But yeah, so we do or I do at least. And I apologize to Erwin. We did. He has drank some Kool-Aid, but he was right. All of these companies are corrupted to begin with, which is why that DEI Detected is so important, because it is sort of a catch-all. I would assume that means any company that then releases like a bunch of DEI bullshit, regardless if they hired a company, if they release a bunch of like, look at what we do, that would also make it onto the DEI Detected list. But speaking of bullshit, and I knew it, and I was on a stream, and like the first thing they asked me, and I was like, no, don't fall for it. No, George Lucas is not coming back. Yeah, obligatory, it wouldn't matter, and no one cares anyway. But even if this were true, it wouldn't matter. It's not true. George is not coming back for any live action Star Wars series. You disappointed, Rat? Were your hopes that George was going to come back and save everything? Oh, he's dead. Rat's gone. Well, rest in peace, Rat. That's all right. It's Badgercast now fully. Here's the thing. This all comes from Star Wars Theory. It comes from Star Wars Theory, who he had Roger Christian on, who was like, he worked on the original Star Wars Theory, and he worked on the original Star Wars series, and he worked on Phantom Menace. And in the course of the interview, he said, well, I think based off what I've read, I think maybe I've. Oh, now you back, motherfucker. I asked you, do you think that even if this were true and it's not, and I'm about to explain why it's not, do you think this would be anything?
Did you want me to tag it up like this? It wasn't enough to
no. I want you to answer. Do you think it would?
I had to go to the restroom.
Yeah. Hey, that's what. Hey, everyone, if you're ever, you need to go take a piss so that people.
I said it in public so that you would know. No questions asked.
No. I blocked that part out.
Anyway,
do you think
asshole.
This would save?
No,
anything?
And I also don't think that because what's he gonna do? What's he gonna say? They've already changed everything he said don't change.
Yeah,
and they didn't even pay him everything. So
they've already proven that they won't listen to him. But yeah, no, this was basically a dude that had just said he'd heard some things and he had read some things, and Star Wars Theory got all like, what? But it's like a live action Star Wars TV. First of all, we've already had several live action Star Wars TV shows, Andor, Kenobi. So like, what are you talking? Ahsoka, The Acolyte, which we all can't wait for. They fucked George over multiple times. He called them white slavers. Yes. He came back to say that it was, the asinine comment that making magic isn't for amateurs, even though he himself was an amateur when he made magic. That was just because he was the largest single stockholder, and they were like, hey, he didn't buy in Treon. But no, as Ryan from Archaeopus has pointed out, George is older, not getting around that well. They bought his treatments and then promptly ignored them. He ain't coming back. George Lucas threw in with Bob Iger, so even if he did come back to Star Wars, his wife would make him stay in the DEI play pit. Oh yeah, no. And that's the other thing is even if he came back and they're like, yeah, we're sorry, George, here you go, do whatever you want. No. Nothing would come by. So yeah, I am just calling it now. I mean, with all due respect to Star Wars Theory and his guest, Mr. Christensen, I do not think that dude knew what he was talking about. And even he said, maybe I'm prophesizing, maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. Well, that's right. He did, unfortunately. Shout out.
Because I heard from my cousin that a room that he was staying at by his maid.
The Acolyte gonna be terrible. Absolutely terrible. I hope he's doing the Charles Barkley terrible, but that's how I heard it. The Acolyte is going to be fucking glorious. I'm like a kid in a candy store. I can't wait. Let's not forget that George is a capitalist and takes Disney. Oh, yeah, of course he's a capitalist. Let's not. The people around Lucas made story. Yes. Well, look. Obviously, George makes no. I'm not gonna slander George. I love him in fucking the original Star Wars. Obviously, and he's made no bones about the fact that it's based on the movies he used to watch and the serials he used to watch. And yes, a lot of people around him, from his wife Marsha Lucas, and obviously Ivan Kershner and other directors, and Rick McCullum, other producers, have been instrumental parts to Lawrence Kasdan. But yeah, George himself, he's a vision dude. And that's probably where he should have stayed. Restrained vision with people, someone else organizing it all. But yeah, George ain't coming back. God bless him. We miss him. But yeah, wasn't going to save anything. Speaking of not saving anything, and this is not to gloat over a corpse, but we see here, after Sweet Baby Inc. Pointed this out, pointed this out, Tales of Kinzara Zhao, 287 at peak. 287 at peak. So try again. And also as pointed out, like, yeah, honestly, if this is what you want, if this is your group, if this is your game for underrepresented groups, 100%. If you want to take, like, instead of race swapping or taking something already established, you take like something from African tribal mythology and you do this, that's like fine. But then you can't
Fortnite.
Yeah, well, you can't further trying to think. I think it was, yeah, it's a little platformy. Yeah, I'm sorry, but yeah, no, no, let's fucking gloat. Yeah, the Schadenfreude is strong. Schadenfreude is strong. We tried to tell him. We tried to tell him in a lot of ways that like you would do it, but don't do it hardcore. So, and then we talked about that coordination. Well, speaking of gloat, let's gloat. All right, this one. I mean, hold on. The lovely the Zeg, who gave us the classics of
Weird.
And of course,
all of Andrew's scenes could get cut. Who knows? It's Hollywood, baby. But
who, ironically, it seems her scenes have been cut. That scene was true about them adding in a flashback, and all of the test screenings are poorly and they're a mess. The one down here is of all the movies when they were talking about it, they listed okay. So in October 2023, Empire Box Office posted was going to hold back on this as it seems to have a narrative, but just bad timing. Hearing that 4 big budget films are all either disasters about to happen or need extensive work to save them. The Marvels
failed.
Didn't even make 200. It did. It made a little over 200 million and then was readjusted to under. Okay. Snow White, which got delayed, right? Because they had all that backlash to the magical fucking diverse.
Someone else made a movie just to tank it.
And those monstrous little midgets that they had, because Peter Dinklage had to complain. So they put CGI in abominations that are all probably amorphous, non-gender fluid, whatevers.
Go AI.
So Madam Web. How'd that turn out?
Oh.
And then the one after that is Ballerina, and that is the Ana de Armas John Wick spinoff, which got delayed till 2026, which we found they're reshooting and adding action scenes. So yeah, this one is pure Schadenfreude. Yeah, why are they all? I'm sure she's very nice, but they all turn out.
Why are you sure of this?
Ironically, a rotten apple.
Send her over to the queen.
So when we were talking about why they would do what they have done to Warhammer, why would you take something, and apparently they've been doing it for a while, but why would you rampancy? Why would you accelerate this? Not just it's because Henry Cavill's doing his live action, and we're adding this, much like Marvel has done with their comics, where in the last 10 years, they've added a bunch of unpopular choices and characters so that when people complain, they can go, well, it's in the comics. That's what they're doing. Yeah, that's what they're doing with the lore. Let me see. Folks, Snow White originals. I think it was more just the fact that the immediate reaction of her who said that Snow White is dated and essentially fucked the original, and that the prince was a stalker, and then Daily White with Brett Cooper came out and immediately was like, no, I love the original. It's great. It's timeless values, and so we're gonna do our version or whatever. She's like, bro, we all would. That's the point. Ain't no one kicking her out of bed. We can save her too. Make her base, turn to a trad wife. So the other reason, Jesus, right as I was going to do it, Danny G earliest was a member before we even started. Cheers to the cheers to the best new 40K channel on YouTube. A Custodian's video released by Games Workshop yesterday is getting ratioed 1-to-2. Yes, might be worth keeping an eye on that. I will. I need to decide on I need to get a dislike thing for Google, the insert that lets you, plugin, thank you, that lets you see that. Well, you are my tech rat, so find me when there's like 3 or 4 and I couldn't decide. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, that they are, and people in the community had said is like, well, had they just explained why and done it rightfully? But it's the revisionist history. But here is the suggestion. Former Epic Games executive suggests Amazon tank Warhammer with wokeness in order to purchase Games Workshop on the cheap. Now, when I originally saw this, I thought he was saying this is what they did. He is suggesting this is what they do. And this to me would be the shout out, Daniel. This to me would be the cancer kill it with radiation, where you make it so woke that people, which is already happening, where they abandon it, the stock prices are already dropping, then Amazon sweeps in, they buy it, They buy it up, and then any inclusion standard they want, they can change the lore at will. But it seems like Games Workshop has already capitulated. So I actually don't think this is the reason. I think they're already doing it, and they're doing it just because of the live action. That's all the reason. That and the ESG credit score. Shout out Tim. Kylo Ren. That's not Kylo Ren. But yeah, I think this personally is just this dude's idea of what they should do. Yeah, man, what made you laugh? Let's see. Jesus, dude, form your ideas in your head and then speak them. Just no. You get a stream of consciousness. Welcome. You should fucking come watch a Nerd Rage and see the stream of consciousness that Erwin and I
like it.
Yeah, and if you don't like it, God bless you.
Some milk.
Yeah. I would never say if you don't like it, if you don't like my politics, don't buy my book. But we see how that works out. All right. So here's the big one, and this just happened today. Stellar Blade did in fact censor, even though they said they weren't. They censored several things. First, there's some outfits they censored. Here we go.
Good
you
Lord.
Can see the original, the patched, and then the new game plus variant down at the bottom, all with increasing. I know, brother. It's one of those things where I wouldn't change it if I could. Part of my flair.
I've been dealing with this shit for decades.
Yeah,
you can deal with it for an hour.
Yeah. Thought I wouldn't know it's the Friday joke, but we did. Okay, and then here's also the violence. On the left, you can see the blood is a little bit more substantial, but the main thing is you can see it all over her body specifically. And then on the right, you can see it not there. And now we talked a little bit like maybe you could try and say that this is because of lag, because maintaining the blood splatter on the body would lag. But then as Hypnotic pointed out in the chat, they already showed this off in other demos and there was no problem like that. R2, I sent a dono to Nerd Dude, so it's only fair I sent one to his sidekick as well. He's my sidekick. How dare you? No, I don't. It's fine. It's equal. Pasquale. JK, you guys are legends. Even Techrat Dude. Ack. Shout out. I love it. If you don't like my politics, if you also buy my book. Yeah, that's what she should have said.
Right.
Fucking dummy. But she also gave us that beautiful clip of her saying that if you don't like my politics, don't buy my book. And then the very next, I would if you are annoyed by me and you don't like me, fucking keep watching, hate watch me and talk shit. I would never tell you to stop watching. That's dumb as shit. Like, I am a student. I know he fell off the cliff now. I used to watch Howard Stern and listen to Howard Stern for years. My dad used to listen to him before he really fell off. He went woke before woke was woke. Anyway, the whole thing was like, people were like, why do people listen to him? And it was like, well, the average Howard Stern listener listens for 2 hours. Average answer, I want to see what he's going to say next. What about the average Stern hater? He listens for 3 hours. Average answer, I want to see what he's going to say next. So like, stay as long as you want. I don't care if you like it or not, but I hope you like it.
I mean, we're
Obviously.
at 30 right now. So
God bless. Yeah, but it's because we're talking about Stellar Blade. Sure. So getting to Stellar Blade. So they censored the outfits, even though they promised not to capitulate to the uglification. Hey, God bless Sons and Shadows. God bless. Yeah, and then let us know, because that's the other thing is I've heard it's good. So that's the ultimate point of this. Is apparently this is all from Sony, and we are trying to do this. We are trying to get some backlash without hurting Stellar Blade. So Grummz has an 8-point plan that we're going to go through, but the main point of this is continue to buy Stellar Blade, continue to buy it, but don't patch it, and cancel your PlayStation subscriptions. So Grummz has reached out to, this is part one, he reached out to Kim Hyung Tai, who is the creator of Stellar Blade, and obviously he's saying give it some time before he gets back to him. But shout out to Doomcock and his minions. I do like that name. Okay, so he contacted him, and he's basically saying, look, you need the support. He said it in a much more political way, but you need the support of the fans. So please change this back to the original way that you showed it, so that the fans can continue to support. And then he said that guy follows him so he can see our replies. So be polite, but when you're replying to Grummz, who apparently also is being shadow banned. So I put a direct link in this stream to go to both the change petition and also to Grummz's Twitter, so you can do all this yourself. But he's banned on. So that's why that's all linked. So basically, the idea is to continue to, if you can, snail mail. I know, but he says snail mail, send letters, particularly if you are Eastern. To be most effective, you need mail to mail physical letters. Expats or Korean fans need to also politely visit their offices to physically drop off a letter, but also email. And of course, he links all of their shit. And then here in 5. For us, if you're in North America, and or I'm assuming he's going to group England in this, Sony North America and at PlayStation. Sony is different. North American offices are very sensitive to social media, as you do. You need to post them, tag them, and get hashtag free Stellar Blade trending. So I posted that earlier, hashtag free Stellar Blade. I gave up on gaming after Nintendo placed Minecraft, Steve, and Smash at Nintendo Centrals. The whole thing is we gotta not give up. We can't cede the ground. That's what the political right has done to pop culture. They ceded the ground for a long time and let the left take over. So we cannot give up and go away. We got to be just as loud as vocal as those fucking crazies, because those fucking crazies took over. So we need to be the balance. And the delicious thing about that is the more they try to attack us, the more they see that, oh, wow, you guys are actually pretty well put together and they have good jobs. And they're all married with kids and a family. And
it's the delivery. You do it calmly and you do it correctly,
and rationally.
And they have nothing.
Yeah. So, hashtag free Stellar Blade, cancel your PlayStation Plus subscriptions. And when asked, mention this. Mention the hashtag free Stellar Blade. And tell them you're just not down with this censorship. It's the big rub is the game is made for mature. So what's the problem?
Yeah, just imagine not buying it.
In The Last of Us 2, you had no problem having Joel's head bashed out, but you can't show this. But as much as we try to, we gotta make them understand. 7, the petition I made. And so this petition right here, again, I linked it in the channel. Go down. And I know he's trying to say, oh, well, I'll get to a second. He points out that he was one of the people that got Classic, World of Warcraft Classic back through petitions and word of mouth. And that was a movement. And just this last part, hey, we're doing our part. Contact YouTubers. That's us. Send them this thread, get out the word. So if anyone in the chat, if you have a favorite YouTuber, by all means, send them this. But they probably already making videos, or they're probably aware. But if you have a YouTuber that's not aware of this, maybe send them this and get them to cover it, or at least post about it on socials. And I made a video about it earlier. Make sure to go check that out. It was my 4 o'clock video, but this is it. So on top of the AAA gaming moratorium, cancel your PlayStation subscriptions, the pluses, and hashtag free Stellar Blade. And because otherwise, it seems like this is a completely fun game, completely fun, all right game that could be fun again. There's no reason to change this. I don't know. I'll never get to play it because it's PlayStation only, and hopefully it's PC after a year, assuming they fix some things. But that's that.
It'll probably happen eventually.
That's that. Yeah. And those is we have 30 people and we got some channel records, 250 viewers over on Nerd Rage today. And I do think 30 was over 30, but 30 32. Is So let's see. Oh, before that one, let's see. Hold on. The clicking. Doomcock, World Class Bullshitters, Geeks and Gamers, Minecraft Steve. Yeah, well, Geeks and Gamers will definitely do it. I saw what's his face? Gundam, Papa Gundam did a video about it. Yeah, the problem is it's all the same thing, right? It's all the same variation of censorship, and the causes are all DEI agenda, ESG. And when everyone goes from who, from why, it's all the United Nations and the World Economic Forum. You just got to say it quietly. My favorite, Latine. Yes, because Latinx wasn't catching on, so they changed it to Latine. Is ironic. It sounds like latrine. And no, that will also be not accepted. That will be not accepted. Yeah, now we can just bullshit and hang out, and when everyone gets tired and bounces out, we'll just magically end the show. Otherwise, if there's anything you guys want to talk about, anything in the chat,
that stupid ass trailer for the Furiosa.
Oh yeah, you were talking about that. So yeah, what do you think about that? Now, personally, did you like the last Mad Max Fury Road?
No. And does it have anything to do with the all-women cast, basically, and a muted man? Not really, but
I mean, a little bit, because if you did like it, and maybe you did like the Charlize Theron character, that maybe you would want to see a prequel. I mean, I like Anna Taylor-Joy.
In everything.
Anna. I said
Where's
it. I said it like no. I said it like I was Shad. Anna. Yeah. So how did you like the trailer?
God, no. As soon as I noticed what it was, I hit skip.
I can't watch it because it'll get claimed. It'll get claimed. We could bring up pictures from it, but yeah,
look at the first person to say it in an hour and 10 minutes.
Yeah. Non-binary custodies. This burrito bandit approves, dude. You. Hey, shout out to Fallout that didn't have a Mary Sue. It didn't have a Mary Sue. Yeah, but Furiosa is gonna be a fucking Mary Sue.
John, late as hell.
And honestly, Johnny, I haven't seen you in a while. Have you been sleeping? Have you been working hard in your cave? I haven't seen you in some of the streams. I was a little worried.
The aliens got him.
Still worried. Yeah. Bly, that was my problem. It was like, it's a fine movie, but it's not a Mad Max movie. And I hate that people go, oh, it was fine. Mad Max is always caught up. No, fuck you. Even in Road Warrior, he's basically the main character, even if he's like, so, and in the third one in Thunderdome, he's still the main character, even if he's caught up in other people's stories. Furiosa was basically the 50-50, and I hate that shit. My brother, honestly, just showing up, liking the stream and commenting is enough. The people that are able to go above and beyond and super chat, 100% respect that. We've talked about that. That's also because the things that we used to spend money on told us to go fuck ourselves. So now we have a parallel economy where we like, yeah, I super chat other channels because I can, like, but no resentment if you can't. Jeremy's not care for my smash. Yeah, well, there you go. Oh. Ack. Turning the chat green. Thank you. I would like to thank you.
Hey, I think that deserves a maybe an icon, maybe an ack icon.
Bro, yeah, that I could do, and it's like the alien ack. Okay. This is I don't know anyone that saw this, and I don't think Gooch is still here, but if they do, Late Night with the Devil, it is super decent until the ending where I started laughing. It was a choice. The chick in it, all the actors were good. Shout out to my favorite Latin, great Deadpool. He's also my, if anyone is wondering, he is my Warhammer correspondent. He does actually know the lore and all of that. So if anyone has any Warhammer questions, the great Deadpoolio is there. Yeah. Late Night with the Devil was cool until the ending when I started laughing, but I guess I can forgive it because there was some good performances and I did like the overall story, and they referenced Bohemian Grove. So it's shout out. It's a little bit funny. Yeah. Thank you guys. Thank you, Ack. Thank you for the memberships. Thank you for turning people green. Yeah, Nintendo, as we've seen, and they're hiring more, they also have DEI included. They just hired DEI officers. Hello, did Hypnotic? Did I miss it?
Ghost in?
Hey, don't out people.
Are we summoning?
No, because I think you can only tag people when they're in the chat, but just because he didn't say anything doesn't pretend he's not here. Lurkers are allowed and encouraged, and that way he can jump in and call me gay at the appropriate time and maybe have me on the Saturday night stream to replace Leon, so that way I can be with Eric July so I can fanboy. But if not, that's fine.
Shit.
He's not in the chat anyway. He is going to have Eric July on a Saturday Night Hypnosis, so that'll be tight. Cool. Yeah. Dude, I'm waiting for Yaira. I am waiting for Yaira to come out.
Speaking of, you get a chance, you put in a good word for me, for a Soska?
Oh, yeah, I guess everyone does. I'm fine with the Soskas. Gay or gay? I've heard it both ways.
So what's wrong with that?
Definitely a algorithm thing. I prefer to spell it the second way, especially when, why are you gay? Why are you gay? Wait, you have to the GHEY is the why are you gay? I gifted a membership to Hypnotic. Nice. That's hilarious. Hey, I give Hypnotic memberships and Leona memberships because you gotta support. It is crazy, dude. Like when I first really started watching it, it was the Fellowship. because Gary said that Community was communist shit. So it was the Fellowship. And then I got into Geeks and Gamers, and then they had that one, what do you call it? They have little moments where the guy said that Star Wars Civilization had been around since 199, the year 199. And then they had that freak out. And then the 199 was born. So then it was the Fellowship and the 199. They didn't start watching Hypnotic, and we have the Bigot Army, which that's a choice to turn bigot and embrace it like that. And it's grown on me since. And then as a joke, and now seriously, we have the Badger Legion. So these growing, and then for Nerd Wars, for the Nerd Rage, we have Nerd Runners. So the legions are growing, the armies are growing, and it's great because, as we've always said, it's going to take an army of this, an army of us to combat an army of them.
Legion of extraordinary badgers.
You know what, bro? I respect what the man did. Respect what he did. All right. Not saying he has the greatest comics ever. I respect that he went out, he put his money in his mouth, was what he was saying, and he literally went out and created a fucking comic book company. And whether you think he got all of his sales because the Blaze or whatever the fact, the results speak for themselves. And it's just, that's what we need more of. That's what Razor Fist talks about when he talks about the Iron Ages. We all just need to start. And also, everyone that wants to start a comic now, he can start printing them out. He's got that Rip of Sins thing. Then I'm sure they'll talk about that tomorrow. So, there it goes. As the armies grow, so does the Legion. Yeah, well, and also the amount of people, trust me, we're going to start to see it with the Warhammer people. The amount of people that are just sick and tired of seeing their shit ruined for no reason. Like, literally, it's getting insane. The normies, the people that like have a couple hours, the non-pejorative normies that have a couple hours, pay their taxes, they go to work and they come home and they just want to watch something and they're tired of being preached to. Even Schreiber had no idea what The Last of Us 2 was and what happened is shit. Well, a lot of people, that's the other thing is like much like when we talk about Alex Jones and we do all these things, Alex Jones is so involved in all of the conspiracies and all of the things that sometimes he thinks that everyone is knowledgeable as he is on the subjects because he's in that world all the time, and also pattern recognition. And it can be the same thing when you cover DEI because it has so fully infested every single franchise, every single TV show, every comic book, every video game, to the point where we're now at tabletop video games. It's very easy to then see it everywhere. It's very easy to then, when something goes on, to be like, well, of course they did this. And then Normie's like, what are you talking about?
It's going to happen to everything. Next, they're going to be like, you can't play tic-tac-toe with X's and O's because the crossing section of the X is offensive to people.
Yeah, well, and that's the point is, and then you start sort of losing, like, am I seeing it because I'm used to seeing it all the time? Or is it like, and we sort of, I saw this with Fallout with the Dane character, right? Fallout has that the actual DEI, I know Gary, and then we're accusing you of DEI. It's not. If you play the games, especially in the vaults, that's what it looks like. Now, the Dane non-binary and the Brotherhood of Steel, that is a fucking 2024 DEI ESG check mark that they hit. That's the tax they had to pay. That being said, many people that hadn't played the games and don't know about DI asked, is that supposed to be they called it out. So I was like, okay, so it's not just us. It's not just pattern recognition. Every day people are seeing it. And even in the chats, the comments of different videos, when I've said that, like, even people that don't get into the details of this, even the people that don't know that BlackRock and State Street and Vanguard have these standards and wishes and all that, even they can suss it out. Even they can smell it. And it's the preachiness. It's the forced, even people that are like, and I include myself, even people that have no problem with gay people, have no problem with interracial this or black people, when you all of a sudden see it in this weird 50-50 all the time, every fucking couple is a white man and a black woman, or you know what I'm saying? That's when everyone starts going, what's going on here? What is this? But yeah, we've seen that. We've seen why they do that. That's the Larry Fink from BlackRock saying, oh no, when you want to change a firm and the culture of a firm, you have to see that change echoed everywhere in the firm. And in this case, the firm is America, and which means the changes that they want to see need to be everywhere. And that means there can be no escapism, which means everywhere we would escape to, we have to see the change they want, which means you're getting fucking female custodies.
That's a long way to say.
There's a long way to say, I hope you like the new Ray movie. I'm going to make you all uncomfortable with a perfect 50-50 diversity, because if you haven't think they got to her, they have. And it will be everywhere. It is funny. Yeah, no, I know. And a bunch of like the Klaus Schwabs, they all sound like fucking Bond villains, James Bond villains. It's just, it's a little on the nose. And their bridge, let me see if I can summon Hayden Wayne. Their bridge now that they're trying to really put DEI into everyday life, it sounds like Spectre. I mean, he might as well be sitting there with a white cat that he strokes.
To cut off your genitalia.
I expect you to go non-binary. So Leslie Headland, Harvey Weinstein's former personal assistant, has said that they have given her free reign to use established canon, both expanded universe, because now they're starting to steal from that, and fuck you, Dave Filoni, for pretending that like you came up with half of it before someone called them out and was like, oh yeah, that's right, I guess we did take it from the expanded universe. Anyway, she is going to I hope you don't, anyone that liked the Plagueis novel or anything that came around in that time, she's going to use it. She's going to ruin it 100%. So yeah, that's why I'm watching The Acolyte, for the shit show, for the enjoyment, for the Schadenfreude, for the memes. Someone rescue Dave's dog. Someone rescue it. That's okay. Charlie, let's see. Yes, basically saying they are trying to take away your free thinking brain. It pisses me off. Why does everything have to be political? When I first started the channel and my dad was like, are you going to talk about politics? You're going to talk about culture. I just said, yep. Yes. Because unfortunately these days you cannot talk about one without talking about the other. They've been linked together. And yeah, I mean, we ceded the ground. It was dismissed for so long, and I'm seeing it now. I'm seeing it now in the goddamn Warhammer thing when we're talking about it's just a video game. Grown men complaining about a video game. It's like, you fucking schmuck. You fucking schmuck. A decade of showing you the destruction of every franchise, a decade of showing you the pattern, every single one of us showing you all the capitulation to ESG companies for the easy money, all of us showing why they do it. All of
these people are abused mentally, and they don't know when they're being abused. So
we ceded it first. We gave up the ground. A large portion of us gave it up. At this point, the ground might be salted, but I still think we could save it. I do actually think we could save it, especially when we start being right. The problem with that is we've been right about everything, and we'll continue to be right if they start listening. Like, we've been right about, hey, if you do all this, it will fail. And that's why everything is starting to fail, from the movies to the games, right? But we'll also be right if they start listening to us and making us hot, having hot female characters and good writing, and stop putting agenda and everything, and stop acting like the 0.0 whatever population of queer people is fucking 99% of us. Stop shaming people for being white straight males. Stop shaming people for being Christian. If you stop doing all of that, we would be right about that, and it would all be saved. But if not, it's gonna be salty as a motherfucker in this bitch, and I'm gonna be here for it every step of the way. I did the head shake because I really meant it. Salted earth and recover. It takes time, but it can recover. I mean, yeah, we can go fucking war never changes in this bitch. We could really go, and yeah. And unfortunately, that might happen no matter what. I mean, let's be honest. If we just go, okay, we're done, and do that moratorium turns into, oh, we're just not going to buy AAA games for like more than 2 years. And as we've already seen, unlike the movie industry, those game companies can't take the same losses. So they start, like, look, we already showed tonight some of them shutting down for that Zao. So if they all go away, if not salted, the ground will be barren. It'll be empty, and we'll all be over here playing indie games that we've all coded because we're going to ironically learn to code. Yeah, that'll be fun. See, that sounds racist when you say it like that.
I like when I think about when you mentioned in the past, being told that you gate kept things, and then mentioning that we should have done the shit that you said we were doing.
Well, that was the ironic thing, is that we got accused of gatekeeping and not being inclusive and not being open. And we all collectively say, well, that's full of shit. And they go, oh, we didn't have women in it. We're like, well, yes, we did. Yes, we did. And they were unicorns. If a woman was into Star Wars, If a woman was into Star Trek, if a woman was into any of these things, they were unicorns and they were treated like gold, and we didn't want to scare them off. So I've never once seen a woman that tried to be or was into that and was like, fuck her. So that was a lie, right? And then also that's what we talk about too, is like, yeah, we should have gatekept. We were so happy to share it. Come into our communities. And then they took it over and kicked us out. And this is what's happening to Warhammer. They will kick you out of your own shit and then complain of why it doesn't sell anymore. I am Mexican, by the way, but we need gatekeeping. Yes, of course. You could be Mexican for a wall. We need walls. That's all right, brother. No, we do need to gatekeep. We let people in. We need to now not let them ruin our shit just for fifis. Just for fifis. Head shake. The head shake's going to be a thing. Also, yes, exactly. My frustration is that even though the popular opinion is what all these freaks desire, my problem is that all come. Yeah. My whole thing is that, like, okay, so what? All of the things that they said, Star Wars, right? Oh, it's very patriarchal, right? Yeah, very patriarchal. Well, now you've had the Force is fucking female for about a decade. How's
that working?
Every new protagonist is a female. Everything is, even Kenobi was about Reva and little Leia. So yeah, how's that working out for you? Where is the magical army of women that have shown up for Star Wars now that you've made it open and appealed to them? What's that? They're not there because the women that were there were already there and liked it the way it was. Right.
Weird.
Same thing with Star Trek. Now that we've had 5 or 6 years of shitty Kurtzman Trek and Discovery, where are all the queers and all the women and all the people there for Star Trek? Or isn't that big and famous and make a bunch of money? What's that? It's not. Paramount's going out of business. It might be bought up. All right. And on and on. Hey, Rings of Power. Now that they diversified that up and we had a Puerto Rican that everyone thought was Black Elf, and they made all the orcs white and evil and burned by the thing, and we had a strong Galadriel that killed an ice troll in 30 seconds. And even though only 37% of the people actually finished the show, but we won't talk about that. Yeah, what happened? Oh no. Where's that group? It's almost like all the people that were there liked it the way it was, Warhammer included, and that changing it for the mythical queer modern audience ain't gonna do shit. No, I actually played Starfield day one because it came out on Game Pass.
Exactly.
And I enjoyed my time with it, but no, it's never going to be a Skyrim. It does not have the level of replayability of the quest. It has some good quests. And yeah, when I got to the scene that started Az on his pronoun, because I know everyone thinks that Az did that Starfield pronoun rant at the beginning when they asked him for his pronouns. And by the way, yeah, in Starfield, when they ask you for your pronouns, even if you say the opposite, they still call you by your biological pronouns. Pretty funny. But what started his rant was like a good couple hours through one of the main quests. There is a female clone of a man, and she's like, I'm a female clone of a man. And that made him. And by the way, Az was 100% correct. That pronoun round has aged like fine wine. And of course, then we had the Sweet Baby Ink thing.
And a bigot.
Yeah, no, it was because shout out to Dan Vask, who I can't wait to hear him sing that. Gary is still writing the song that about man buns are gay that Dan Vask has to sing. But yeah, he clipped it and shout out, he hit up Az and was like, can I share this? And Az told him, fill your boots, which I think means like fill your pocket, like fill your boots with gold, like get. I love
when he throws their weird shit in there.
Britishism, yeah, I don't know, but yeah, let's see. No, really, we need more white people not being racist. There's a lack of balance thanks to DEI, despite asking for. So here's the thing that is, but they talk about race purity, because I'm sure there's no black people that have a problem with that. Eventually, we will probably end up looking like the Matrix in Zion. We'll all just be this weird variance of brown, and it's like, whatever. I don't really care about that. I think the more important thing is we need to preserve, regardless of what we look like eventually, we need to preserve the actual diversity of cultures. The actual diversity of cultures. The shit that we're told we're not allowed to use because it's appropriation. No, fuck you. I want to appropriate all the cultures, but we need to preserve those because that is the good shit. Like, our diversity is not our strength. It's the unification of something beyond that, with bringing along the fun things from each thing. But yeah, that's what we really need to preserve. We'll see if that happens, though. There were always strong women in Star. Yeah, of course there were. There were also like there were always black people in Star Wars. I hate it. That's that revisionist shit. I think it was something Ireland, Adriana Ireland, whatever. Who was like Lando was just trying to get into Princess Leia's pants, which is like, well, yes, but so was everyone. So was Luke and Han.
Her brother was trying to smash.
Pretty sure Chewbacca tried to do it at one point.
I heard him say. Rrr.
But look, there were always black men. Where's the black women? Reva. Huh. No, and there were always strong women. Obviously, Princess Leia is a leading woman in the first one. Mon Mothma is the leader of the entire. The biggest problem, and this is the biggest problem of all of them, is the revisionist history and the gaslighting when you call them on the revisionist history. So, or the no bly, it is not a saying in America.
If it is, I've never heard it.
I only thought about it because, like, thinking about being greedy and like filling my everywhere, like Smee when he's league. Smee. What about Smee? Smee. What about me? Yeah, filling your boots with gold. No, it's not, but I do like it. The diversity they want is the destruction of a fucking 100%. They want us to be all some homogenous blob that lives in a 15-minute city that doesn't fly. If you're wondering why they have those DEI requirements that makes everyone scared of flying, well, that's part of it. So only the rich people will be spending their money. But yeah, no, they don't want actual diversity, and they certainly don't want diversity of thought. We know that. Oh no, Bly outed himself a while ago as a I love everyone eventually outs themselves as a Kiwi or an Australian, even though I don't think Australia exists.
Whoa.
Prove it.
Whoa.
I said it. Hot take.
Yeah. Cosmo's gonna attack you when you come over next.
I care about actual color. I didn't have babies with white chick because I wanted a weird mulatto babies. I had babies with white chicks, so my babies would be white. That is culture.
Right.
I mean, it's a part of it. It certainly is a part of it. I know that gets into a weird thing. Yeah. Sure, it is.
It's not why I did what I did, but okay.
I sort of give less than a fuck about that, but I understand when people do care about that. I think that's completely legitimate.
Like breeding dogs.
Darth Zana was great, and Darth Bane was great. They're probably going to ruin that lore too, because one of the whole things she was talking about is they're going to do something with the Sith, and I know for sure they're going to fuck with the Sith rule of 2. She's going to have Sith acolytes. That's what the acolyte is. It's a Sith acolyte, which is fine. They've had Sith acolytes before, where it's like you're not technically breaking the rule of 2, because only the master and the apprentice are actually following the Sith code and are doing like Sith practices, Sith powers, and Sith sorcery. But like I think Asajj Ventress was a Sith acolyte at one point, but it also gets muddy when there's dark side acolytes, but they just use the dark side, but they don't use Sith techniques. Like example, Kylo was never a Sith. Everyone's saying that he was a Sith. He was never a Sith. But yeah, I don't know. I'm interested in it for the shit show. I just know they're going to ruin Plagueis. So ruined him. Good book, by the way. That's the thing. It's just don't even worry about Disney Star Wars. Just go back and go to the expanded universe. It's all still there. Luke is heteronormative. He's with Mara Jade. He has a son, Ben Skywalker. Han doesn't regress to being a deadbeat dad. He's married to Leia. He's there. It's great. It's great. They've got 3 kids for a while.
Sounds like a normal family.
Kylo is an edgelord. I mean, dude. Hot take, but I don't think it's a hot take. Adam Driver was the most likable thing about all of the sequels, and I wouldn't have had a problem if they had cast him as a character. But yeah, the whole making him an edgy like Vader fanboy, super extra emo. Yeah, no, I can't argue with any of that. He fucking it might have been something. There's something there, right? The consciously going to the dark side. There's something there. That's sort of what Jason does in the expanded universe. But no, that was fucking. Again, we live in the timeline where Han, Luke, and Leia weren't put together in a scene. How? How did we get there?
Because they're not important anymore. You needed to learn as much as you could about the new characters.
And that was Kathleen Kennedy. I know there were the Cope article about, oh no, she's not woke. She's not woke. She has to be convinced of doing these things. Bullshit. First of all, it was her idea to change Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. That was originally going to be the original plan for that, was those leaked concept art that we had seen forever, where it was going to be like a Tatooine and a Hoth and a Return of the Jedi. And it was going to be a little bit of a prequel, a little bit of the original with characters we actually give a shit about. And then she said, why would we do that about those properties? We should do it with ones from the sequel trilogy, from the things we created. So that right there, horrible.
She stood up and said, why are you always bringing up old shit?
Finn, I wanted to like the idea of a former stormtrooper. Yes, this is sort of ripped off from Ryan from RK Outpost gave a great explanation of why I was feeling the way I was. I was like, oh yeah, that is what it is. It's one of the reasons I don't give a shit about Andor, aside from the fact that like I just don't care about Diego Luna. He's a fine actor. I just don't care about that character.
Yeah.
Andor is Kyle Katarn. He's a ripped off Kyle Katarn. Same thing with Jan Orris. Like those characters are from they're done better in the expanded. Finn, that former stormtrooper, as Kyle is, that then later learns to become a Jedi. That's Kyle's character. That being said, a former brainwashed stormtrooper then defecting, becoming a rebel, and becoming a Jedi, that would have been so interesting. And boy, I remember it was at the height of Marvel. Disney bought it, and even though this is when Ryan checked out, right? When they, and of course, he's read all the expanded universe books. I've read like half of the books he's read. There's like 300. He's read them all. So when they said that was becoming Legends and it wasn't going to be canon, he bounced out and he hated Force Awakens. I still had bright future ahead. I thought, oh no, they did the Marvel movies good enough at the time. Maybe they'll just, yes, they're saying it's Legends now, but maybe they'll take some of the best. Luke will still make the Jedi Order. He'll still be married. He'll still have a son. They'll still, the bare bones trilogy. Oh, my sweet summer child will be wrong. Finn, I thought would be, him and Rey would be the two leads and would be taught by Luke. Oh, and then he didn't even show up until the last part. And I was like, well, maybe the whole second movie will be him training. And yeah, no. And then, yeah, Hux got turned into comic relief. Ryan really came in and was just like, fuck it.
You still had so much hope.
Ryan came in and just said, fuck it. Rhiannon Roundhead Johnson. And yes, she went through no struggle. She was perfect at everything. She adapted. They literally had to write a novelization saying that, like, when everyone correctly said, how did she beat essentially a seasoned Jedi and or dark side warrior in a lightsaber duel? And then everyone coped out, well, he had just been shot. He had just been shot by the bowcaster, even though he was using the Force to like semi-heal from it because it was a thing and like power through it. And he was in a rage. And they go, well, he had just killed his father. So he was confused, even though the whole point of him is killing his father was that he was hyper-focused on the dark side. He actually would have never been stronger. They literally said that when he was mind melding with her earlier in the film, that she pulled out the ability to do the Jedi mind trick she shouldn't have been able to do, and that she pulled out the ability to sword fight, to lightsaber fight and win. And that's how she fucking won. Yeah, Badger, you cope. We all did. I fucking coped hard, as did we all. Then we swallowed the black bow, and then I died inside during the second one, during the entire second one. Starting with the throw over, starting by her never actually getting any training from him, and him being a curmudgeon, him wanting the Jedi day, all the way to the end, all the way to the end, fucking ODing on the Force projection is very much a power. Not like that, but not the way you think. I think I'm white pilled, by the way, now, Mr. Jew, Mr. Iron. Do you need the full name? It's Iron. Anyway. Yeah, I think I'm white pilled now because I've completely disassociated with it. I don't even consider it Star Wars. Yeah, that was the other thing. Force heal existed, but fucking not like that. Oh, Jew it is. Tiny hat, if you will. Yeah, no, Force heal existed, but not like that. Not like that hardcore of a wounds. It was more like minor wounds and or a serious one like that over time, constantly concentrating the whole time, not just like a boo boo bee boo, let me touch you, Jesus thing. Yeah, It's just that's just not how that works. That's not how the Force works. Yeah. Poor thing. All of it wasted. Which is why I can't wait. Can't wait to see what they're gonna do with Charmin Obaid-Chinoy. Are you ready? Are you ready, Rat? To be made uncomfortable?
Uncomfortable?
Yeah.
Joke's on you, lady. Always uncomfortable.
We really are. We really are. No, they're going to have an entire movie of her doing what Luke should have done already. Well, you know what? I guess we can take money now. Do we think the movie will actually happen? Because the word is, and shout out to Chris Gore, this was also his theory, is that Charmin Obaid-Chinoy made that announcement on CNN all on her own. Because even though they announced it at Star Wars Celebration, when things were starting to look iffy, and as we found out now, shout out to Forbes, that Disney never recouped their losses from actually buying Star Wars. They've canceled more projects than they've announced, right? So Chris was hypothesizing that she just went on her own and doubled down on that so that they would be forced to go through with it. But then we've also heard Bob Iger say that they have quietly canceled several films. And yeah, I highly think that they might, I don't know, 50-50. It is a solid chance that they might cancel it somehow. But I want it to go forward. Rampancy. Seems my comment on Rey's gone, not kidding. She needed a Hente treatment. Rule 34, or at least what Povich did to Vidal. Yeah. Well, corn powder.
Not wrong.
Or cornstarch.
Cornstarch?
Yeah.
Down here baking bread.
Oh no, it's the Jude, and that's the racisms. We got to have at least 3 or 4 racisms per show, or we don't hit our quota.
You don't like Uden?
I'm just waiting for the Mando and the green fucker. Yeah, bro. And I don't even think so. They're doing season 4 and they're doing the movie. The movie's not coming out till 2026. And I think they're doing the show before then, leading up to the movie. I don't know, because either way, all of it's being wrapped up in another one, and that's the Dave Filoni Thrawn movie.
Caca.
It's fucking confusing. Rise of Garbage Palpatine was last Star Wars movie. They are scared. So many people did not even watch that shit. Did not even watch that. It's been like, what, 5 years now? 5 or 6 years? But yesterday was the 10-year anniversary, I believe, of them making the canon not canon anymore. And they say she's going to be playing a Rey that is 15 years older than when last we saw her. And if you go by the real fun rumor, she's pregnant from Ben Solo's baby when she brought him back. And no, I don't think that's true. But holy shit, would that be funny if it's true? Canonically, Beardo can't say canonically. Beardo and fucking Drunk 3PO cannot say canonically.
I was going to say Jay. That'd be a shocker.
Which I'm hoping to have on, well, maybe even this show, because he's got his Achromatic Chronicles Green, whatever, his comic book coming out, which I'm actually still... Erwin has to send me his copy so I can give it to your younger one. But yeah, no, for a school teacher, he can't fucking pronounce anything. Yeah, what do you... When last we saw Rey the Pretender, she was on Tatooine. She had buried Luke and Leia's lightsabers, and that old lady asked her what's your name? What? What is your name? Rey. Fuck you, Rey. Yeah, so Rey Palpatine, but she said Skywalker. She appropriated it, even though I think that's bullshit. Yeah, what could she have done in 15 years? Apparently she has somewhat of a fully formed or is in the process of making a fully formed Jedi Order based on the sacred Jedi texts. My girl, Andrew's no good. Don't you say it. I said it. How are you? Good to see you. We missed you on Nerd Rage today. We missed you. Nerd Rage. Erwin specifically mentioned, what happened to Anders? I was like, oh, I'm sure she's fine.
He'll love to find out that she was here.
Maybe Rise of the Skywalker is actually, well, I'm not. That's the thing is, at least in the beginning, I sort of did. I didn't hate Rey. I liked her. I saw where they were going, but they just made her insufferable. I bypassed the oppressor. Compressor. Sorry about that. Will she have Downs, baby, because of her old eggs? Woof. Woof. She got the stem cell treatments in the galaxy far, far away. So they CRISPR'd it right out.
She got a back to baby.
What the hell could Charmine do? Because I am an activist. Whether it is overt or covert or subvert or any of the verts, like she can't separate her activism. So it will be there something. So what fucking message is she going to say? What was the point of Maz Kanata? So that when someone asked about like, how did you get this lightsaber? They could say a good story for another time that they never fucking answered. I actually do think they answered once, but it was some dumb shit about like an Ugnaught from Bespin found it in the underbellies and put it on eBay. They put it on Star Wars Schmurple, whatever, Schlurpo or eBay. And yeah, I knew that was gonna any of the verts, the overt, the sovert, the covert. Yeah, it's fine. I just want to see how badly they're gonna fuck it up, because it will be. It's just like on a scale of 1 to 10, and they might go to 11. Or what I almost would enjoy more is, I'm entirely wrong. Could you imagine if Charmine obeyed Shinoy and Daisy really make the best fucking Star Wars movie ever?
Rainbow lightsaber. I'm calling it.
Best. You said it like Black Girl Magic. Rainbow lightsaber.
Rainbow lightsaber.
Yeah. And maybe Black Girl Magic too. No. Could you imagine if they really did make, like, they just said, hey, you don't have to pay attention to any of the established canon. Just go ahead and go for it, because it's all after all the movies. That would be great. That's not going to happen, but that would be great. And you know what? Being late and gay is what we are all about, sir. Shout out to you.
Well, that answers the poll, I guess, if whether or not the Badger was gay.
Oh, I'm very progressive. Yeah.
GH.
The Charmin movie is going to get the death like Anthem the game did. You're making me doubt it now, but maybe it's just because look, apparently the Rebel, I keep wanting to say Rebel, the Rogue One movie or Rogue Squadron, whatever it is, Rogue Squadron with Patty Jenkins, that's back on, even though we heard she wasn't doing it. Now she's doing it again. So it would be rough. It would be rough for them to actually cancel that Charmine one. That would be some serious optics, because then they made such a big deal about being the first female director of a movie, because obviously we've had several fucking female directors in the television shows, but they're gonna it is, but I don't know. 50 I'm 50-50 on it right now.
Danger.
I like Rogue One. I'm really at now. Yeah, I like Rogue One too, but like always, I just mean I like the Darth Vader scene at the end. I was in Vegas for work. Womp womp. I missed y'all, so I'm so glad I caught you. She has a southern one. Rainbow bright lightsaber. Yeah, it's definitely gonna suck. Yeah. Well,
right on.
I know. I said cancer. I meant cancel, but I think I had it right the first time. Yeah, I said the quiet part out loud. Yeah, I know.
You've been learning.
I know. It's also getting late, which is actually early. By the way, anyone up late? I know. I wish I could stream earlier, but the problem with that is Jeremy is always streaming Cobra Cast. Otherwise, I would start at like 6 p.m. my time. But Jeremy is doing Cobra Cast, and Hypnotic is doing Hypnocast. And respect, brothers. Respect, brother. I don't want to stream over them. I'm one of the belters on The Expanse. It's not racist if you talk like one of the belters. I like the late night stream. Oh, well, there you go then. If you guys like the late night, that's fine. Yeah, and Leon, Words of Paradise, he's got the late night thing going on too. So sometimes I stream over him. Sorry, we'll raid his channel. We're going to end in 12 minutes. We'll end at the 2-hour mark, and then we'll go raid Leon's channel. I know, sorry. And yeah, does he still play it? I've been watching Cobra Cast, but I haven't caught the ending. I know he was, for a while, he was only playing it on what the hell, Rumble, because they were copyright claiming it. Sorry, I'm just making sure to see if Leon. But either way, yeah, that song is a banger.
Sounds like the consensus is we stay late.
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm fine
Yeah.
with that. I'm fine with that. I like late night streams.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, the Belters. Did you watch any of The Expanse?
I feel like I started it and then
I've
something
watched.
or
I
another.
feel like I watched that
happened.
first season like 7 times trying to get into it, and some of the second. They talk like this. They say it's a mixture of all the languages.
Yeah.
But they talk like broken Chinese.
That sort of sounds like diversity.
Yeah, it's saying like diversity, but it's still racism. Yeah, it is.
Like
It's
an
confusing.
Asian, Australian.
It's fucking all over the place. Yeah, but it really is more Belter. They talk like in broken stock. Yeah, it's weird. It goes all over the place. Yeah. It's always wake up early for the pussy. I mean the beaver. No, actually, I feel bad for a lot of the Brits that have to wake up again like super early for some of these streams. Yeah, no, if you haven't heard the Sabaton one that plays Trump, he plays her the Trump thing at the end of his Cobra casts, it is a banger, and it really is. Say my name as a friend. Yeah, I can't. Maybe we'll play it sometime. I think he kept getting copyright claimed. But it is a super, super banger song. And yeah, all of the Stargates hold up. I'm trying to get I thought Gary was going through the Stargates, but I think he stopped to watch other things. SG1, Atlantis, even Universe has something there, even though it got canceled. But for sure, and like that was Jason Momoa before anyone was talking about him in Game of Thrones. Was him as Ronan Dax in Stargate Atlantis? Is a sick ass character, dude. Like the alien, the big bad from Stargate Atlantis, the Wraiths would set up people called runners. They would basically just tag them with LoJack and set them loose into the verse and chase them throughout like planet to planet, sort of like Predators. More like Hirogen from Star Trek. Who doesn't love a big? Yeah, sure. I mean, all of you guys, which I love. Harvey Cthulhu loves beavers. The angriest beaver. Yeah, sometimes I get complaints that I'm not angry enough.
Yeah, I think it's misleading.
Because a lot of times they get passionate and animated, and people think I'm angry, and like even the homie the other day, I was like, I'm not angry. Why is it? I'm just,
You'll know when I'm angry.
He was good until Godzilla 98. I unironically like Godzilla 9. I mean, I don't think it's a great movie, but I do like it. Matthew Broderick, Jean Reno, just the whole. It's fucking funny. But yeah, no, obviously I'm looking forward to Godzilla -1 coming on streaming. You a bitch, get angry. Yeah, that'll do it. The one British dude from Mad Men was in The Expanse for a hot minute. The one British dude from Mad Men. Yeah, it's been a minute since I've seen Mad Men.
I never watched it.
Really?
Yeah.
It's good.
I'm thinking about it.
I think your anger level is just right. Well,
yeah.
Shit, that's all you had to say.
Over here tickling the right language.
It's a subtle rage. I warn you, I am susceptible to flattery. Yeah, no, but I get upset. You should have seen you should have seen the original stream with Nerd Rage when he first came out about Sweet Baby Inc. And he was like, oh no, they're not to blame what we think they are. We all roasted him. But yeah, I did get upset on that one. And he wasn't even talking about me. He was like it was like an overall. But he was saying with a tone that I thought he was like, yeah, I got a little moody. Kept bringing up all the chats, diming him out. That was fun. So I do get upset, but most of the time, but also, like, you're supposed to be a little entertaining. People are watching you. You can't just be sitting here and all docile.
Throw something at your toys.
You were mad about it, yeah. But that's the thing. It's authentic. I will never be fake upset. That's the whole fucking point. It has to be authenticity. Oh, good. I'm glad because I kept seeing people. So Gary wasn't banned. He could still go. What happened was his press credentials were pulled. This is on top of Anna, that Star Wars girl. Basically, this is just weaponized against people that are talking out against these agendas. And it's still not clear whether this was done on purpose or whether this was just some snooty little fuck that thought they could sneak by. Well, I'll show him and did it. So we'll still see. But he wasn't banned. He can still go. It's just that his press passes were pulled. So, but we'll let you know. We'll let you know what happens with that. Par for the course. It's a bitch move. So bitches as bitch does. It's 6:53 a.m. here, and I have been awake all night on that act, bro. You go sleep real good. But that's what I like though, because ideally for a lot of you that have traditional work schedules, you ain't got shit to do tomorrow. Hopefully, so you show up, you stagger in drunk. We're still going, and or we got done with whatever. Yeah, we'll stay late. We'll stay late. Don't worry.
Don't have to go anywhere.
I've been convinced. Yeah, next week we'll be at 20 episodes.
20, the venti.
Bro, you better drink a bunch of water because dehydration is the number one problem of why you feel like shit in the morning. So drink a bunch of water, take some sort of like aspirin or Tylenol or something like that. That's the one thing I don't miss is all the fucking recovery. Yeah, well, fair enough. Fair enough. That gene is real. That gene is real. You're already there. You're in the future. You're in the future. I used to drink a bunch of Mountain Dew back in the day, so I'm pretty sure I have annihilated my sperm count.
False.
Yeah.
I've proven
also, I had a real good couple-year run, and I didn't get anyone pregnant, so it might be entirely possible that I'm shooting blanks. And you know what? That's probably for the best. I'm not a globalist. Don't worry, I'm not a goddamn globalist. We do need more people, but I think it'll be all right if my particular line goes the way of the dodo. It's all right. The badgers, there will be other badgers that will be just fine. Whiskey, baby. Yeah, no, that would be the preferred choice. Or a good bourbon. But yeah, no. God bless. That is what I was thinking of those. I wanted everyone to show up either drunk and or drinking during the show. It is supposed to be a late night, end of the day. We talk about all the bullshit from the week. We talk about what we think going forward. And there you go. There you go. And yeah, that's also probably why I didn't. I'm just saying I didn't have any incidents. Thank the gods. Thank the gods. Whiskey and a good cigar. Never been able to get into cigars.
No, but a good whiskey. I do miss. I think today, in fact, is 9 months.
Is it?
Sometimes. Yeah. Sometimes I miss.
You are free to go back whenever you want. Those are all personal choices.
No, I can't.
The old and the new. Yeah, but those are all personal choices for everyone. I am not like I'm not like Gary, who thinks everyone's an alcoholic or a drug addict immediately when he hears that. That is, I love him. But that is that's a bridge. That's a bridge too far. You son of a bitch. You made that joke. I knew you would.
I did.
That was good. That's fine. Yeah, shout out to the rats for going 9 months. Yeah, no, see, I'm California sober. Trust me, I've got my own.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the other thing is, yeah, I'm not on any marching or Colombian, any of those things. I'm on the other thing that calms you down. So could you imagine if I wasn't?
It's cannabis and caffeine. It's just as bad.
Yeah. It would be a thing. It's been a while since I had a cigar. Jesus Christ. Yeah, no, the nicotine for sure fucking jacks you up. It's when you don't drink but you smoke weed. So like I'm sober, but you're like smoking weed. It's like, no, you're not. It's like, well, I'm not drinking. It's California sober. Yeah. And yeah, fuck it. Sub to Mr. Tech. He does not post any content whatsoever, but you can find him here. He does make content, but it's he makes the shorts over there.
What do you want? What do you want? I'll start 3D printing. Let's go.
Yeah. I mean, it's not sober. Yeah. Hey, sober. Yeah. Well, I don't smoke a billion cigarettes, but yeah. But also, I'd never shame it. I don't have any problem with people drinking around me whatsoever. I said, girl, I thought you already was, but thank you. I'm glad I earned it. Thank you.
I think she meant to me. You selfish bastard.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, no, I'm a narcissist like Tony Stark. Yeah, no, I'm Mr. Techrat. We're gonna get you there. And I'm
not even trying to go anywhere.
You should be. Make videos explaining your 3D printing. They're really good. You have a very dulcet tone that everyone likes.
I'll keep going, I guess.
Rat drank one of his. It was like a weed beer or something the other day or the other week.
It was actually pretty good.
See, they exist. I had to quit smoking and edibles for my job 6 months now. Oof. Yeah. As long as it's a balance, you got to have something. I'm caffeine, nicotine, whiskey, beer drinking, PTSD, burrito bandit. Yeah. And fucking, you need to maybe work on a couple of those before we have a magic stream where we invite him back in and it's a fucking, we all love you. You must stop. No, I've been clean 14 years. Shout out, bro. Shout out. I think me personally, I think I'm a year and 8 months of booze, just no booze.
Yeah.
Which I was drinking a bottle of whiskey a day and I'm not Scottish. So that's just the impulse control problem. And I hated my job, which I love my job now. Take that for what you will. Love the 3D printing. You already got fans. I have never done alcohol nor smoking. Well, you know what? You and Trump and JJ or what's his name? Jeremy, he's never drank. There you go. Thank you, Anners. Yeah, sure helped my wallet and my weight. I'll tell you that. Yeah, but I smoke like a chimney, though. So, I would never tell you what to do.
That's not true.
You know,
played video games together.
If you don't love your family enough to do it for them, well, I don't know what to tell you. I would shame you, though. I will shame. I never tell you what to do, but I'll shame the shit out of you. And no, as we always say, chat, you are the best. And I am. If you're Irish, you would just be warming up. I actually am part Irish in my lineage. That's what that white is. And that's why I was able to drink as much as I was for so long without really finding the repercussions. So we are going to be signing out now, guys. 2 hours. We had an hour of the show recap and an hour of bullshitting with you guys. I think that is just the right amount. Of course, starting out new, of course, we might drag this out depending on how much you guys complain about us ending. But Daniel G, we started out the new member. Then we had super chat from Mouse here, talking about, yes, Rat needs to get a 3D printer, a resin one, so he can start making Warhammer figurines for the people. Laud with his customary one membership, shout out. Joker's Disciple dropping in with a Crimer Lives Matter. They do, depending on who you ask. I think they do. I'm a Crimer. I will admit to that. I just don't get caught. Joker's Disciple, shout out twice. And obviously, I am the gayest of all. I'm not going to let someone out-gay me on my own show. Thank you. Daniel, again, to the best new. Yes, I am a Warhammer channel now. I have gotten a surprising amount of subs from them. So shout out. Thank you guys for staying. Ack. Balance in all things. Debatable. No, he's my favorite. Yes. And again, memberships. Thank you, Ack. All of you, all the shout outs.
You pulled foreign currency today.
Mexicans. All valid, by the way. All valid. And of course, my girl Anders, thank you. Was in Vegas. I hope womp by the way. So I'm assuming it wasn't great for you. But yeah. And there he is. Latine, there's always Vegas. Hopefully next time we can all meet up at the next Geeks and Gamers Fellowship meetings in Vegas. Regardless,
our own little group of creatures.
I don't give a fuck if it's RSVP. I'm going anyway, and we will all meet up in the parking lot. So that's it, everyone. Yeah, make sure to, if you haven't, make sure to like and sub to this channel. And yes, Mr.Techrat, we've been doing that. Thank you so much. We've had like over 30 and almost 30 people the entire time. It's almost like consistently every Friday at the same time and trying and being authentic and hanging out with you guys and not ignoring the chat is a successful way to stream. So
super
thank you
looking
all
forward to 20
seriously.
Next week.
Can't wait until episode 20 next week. That's right. Tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Heathen time, what was that? 1 o'clock Eastern, we will be doing Nerd Rage on Nerd Wars channel. The Nerd Runners. So that'll be a 3-hour stream, probably 2 to 3 hours. So make sure to see you tomorrow on Nerd Wars. But other than that, thank you guys. Rat, do you want to say anything?
I will do my best. I did recently put together a new computer and I got some footage from that build. So maybe I'll slap something together from that.
Good. There you go.
Thank
Slapping things sounds like a toxic white male thing.
Giggity.
Love it. Thank you. All right, guys. We all love you. No homo, slightly homo. And that's it. We don't have an outro. We need to have an outro.
Working on that too.
We will work on it, but in the meantime, we'll just do this. All right. Bye guys. Thank you. We'll see you tomorrow on Nerd Wars, 10 a.m. PST. Thank you guys, and see you next Friday for the 20th episode of Inside the Badger Den. Bye.